What is up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast here to go over UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley going down this Saturday in Boston, Massachusetts for the bantamweight title. We have two title fights on this card, and I'll be honest, the whole entire card is low-key stacked, man. From the very beginning, women's MMA fights to the very end, they're all legit good matchups. I will say before we get into the fights, these lines are crazy. We have some crazy wide favorites, even though I do think a lot of them do come through. These money lines are pretty wild, man, so they're forcing you to parlay this week. So we got to be able to pick our starts here and be careful. But before we get into this week's card, we do have to talk about how we did at UFC Vegas 78 really quickly. Let's recap. And it was a good week for us, man. Our second biggest week of the year. We collected 5.33 units, a little over $200 for us, man. So it was a good night for sure. It just went our way, and a lot of favorites came through, and that was sweet. So really quickly, guys. We'll go from top to bottom. Vicente Luque plus 102 units. We won on that. He dominated the fight. We won 2 units. Super happy with his performance. RDA is just small, man. Pretty crazy that he's fighting at welterweight. He should definitely go back at 155, but he's getting up there in age, so I get the weight cut there. But yeah, man, kind of an easy bet, I'll be honest. Vicente Luque, as long as he didn't get knocked out, that chin held up, and yeah, man, 2 units to really cap off the night there. Then we had Khalil Roundtree to defeat Chris Daukaus at minus 185. We put 1 unit on that to collect 0.54 units. Snatched that up. We got the first round knockout. And he dusted him, man. He dusted Chris Daukaus, officer down type shit. But, man, super happy for Khalil. He got the 50K bonus, so you love to see it. Shout out to Syndicate MMA. Super happy for everyone over there. That was awesome, man. Super happy for that. Probably should have laid more, honestly. And then we had Marin Boudet to defeat Josh Parisian at minus 240. We put 1.2 units on this to collect a half unit. And again, he got it done in the very first round. That fight was insanely quick. Did not expect it to go that way. I actually expected Marin Boudet to win a decision, but he goes in there, takes down Parisian, and gets him out of there really quickly. Pretty awesome when it's not like a sweat. I mean, a lot of our money lines, we'll talk about it a little more, like came through with finishes. So you like to see that, another first round finish, collect a half unit on that. Parisian's probably not going to be in the UFC much longer. And then our very first bet of the night actually was a moneyline bet on the women's MMA fight, Luana Santos to defeat Juliana Miller, minus 150. We laid 1.5 units on this to collect 1, so one of our bigger bets of the night. Yeah, and so she finishes. Juliana Miller puts it on her bad. Miller is just terrible. I'll be honest. I said it last episode. She's not very good. She's a bona fide scrub, no offense. And she shouldn't be in the UFC. I'm really shocked that she's still in the UFC. Super green. Yeah, man, Luana Santos beat her up really bad. So collected a unit on that. Another no sweat bet. Out of our 4 money lines, 3 of them got them done inside the distance. 2 of them in the first round. So you love to see that when it's not a sweat. Super easy bets there. Collected 4 units on the money lines. And then we had some props and parlays. We had Cub Swanson and Hakeem Dawodu. Fight starts round 3 at minus 130. And I was kind of surprised when this line came out because I expected it to be a little more. I just figured that they expected Cub to get finished, and Hakeem doesn't really crack like that. So I figured Cub was able to be durable enough to make it to that 3rd round, and he did. So we put 1 unit on this minus 130 bet and to collect 0.77 units. Snatched that up really quick. That was awesome. And then we had a 2-leg parlay. We had Josh Fremd and Damon Blackshear to win. Josh Fremd at minus 350 did not look minus 350 against Jamie Pickett. Fremd actually missed weight, and I still put this parlay even after, I put it in after he missed weight. That's a risk, definitely. Yeah, he got the job done. Jamie Pickett's just not very good. Low fight IQ from Pickett. Jamie Pickett could have definitely had more success in the grappling if he would have got those hooks in on Fremd. So I don't know what he was doing there. So we got kind of lucky on the Fremd money line there. Parlayed with Damon Blackshear, who gets a twister, only the 3rd twister in UFC history over Jose Johnson. That was awesome. Super exciting to see that. I was really happy to see that. And Damon Blackshear is actually returning, guys. He's fighting back-to-back weekends. Very rare. I don't think it's ever been done. He won this fight, and now he's going to fight Mario Bautista on the card, which we'll get to later. So we parlayed those two at minus 133. We put 1.35 units on that to collect 1.02. Snatched that up. Damon Blackshear, easy finish, and then Frem via decision. And then our only loss of the night, guys, keeping us away from a sweep. We could have collected over 6 units on this card and had our biggest night ever, but the judges had it go in a different way. We had Hakeem Dawodu via decision at plus 200 for a half unit. We would have won 1 unit on this bet. And I'll be honest, man, I thought Hakeem won rounds 1 and rounds 2. When it came in, Cub Swanson, unanimous, 29-28, I was kind of shocked. I'll be honest, I don't really like to use robbery, I just feel like Hakeem got robbed low key, man. That was tough like to take, but it was a great knife, so I wasn't really complaining, especially when Vicente and Khalil came through for us later, earlier. I mean, so yeah, man. Overall, 5.33 units profit. And yeah, man, we're trying to keep it going for UFC 292. It was nice to end a 2-week losing streak and bounce back, getting the profit like that. And yeah, man, like I said, we gotta keep it going, and a lot of sketchy fights on this card, a lot of live underdogs, and a lot of wide favorites. So it's gonna be close. So let's get right into the fights. Our very first fight of the night is a women's flyweight fight between Maryna Moroz and Karine Silva. Moroz comes in 11-4, sitting as a plus 150 underdog, 31 years old, 5'7", with a 67-inch reach. Silva comes in the favorite, 16-4, sitting around plus 175, 29 years old, 5'5", with a 67-inch reach. So this line has moved a little bit since this opening line. So money's been coming in on Moroz, the underdog. She is now around plus 130, and Silva's around minus 150. And it's tough because I am going to pick the underdog right away, an upset to start the night. I'm going to pick Moroz to win this fight. And at plus 130, I think that I've lost the line. It really sucks knowing that I could have got a better line earlier in the week, and now I have to settle for plus 130. So I think I'm just going to stay away betting-wise. But Silva is a beast, man. Nothing against her. She's a killer on the mat, and she's definitely a killer on the feet. She has very good power in her punches, very good combinations. It's just that she's kind of cruising in all of her fights. She's dominating these fights, and I feel like if Moroz can give her some adversity and extend this fight, it can go her way later in this fight. So Silva, dude, 16 wins as a pro, 8 knockouts, 8 submissions. This girl is good everywhere. She has knee bars, ankle locks. So when you have someone that can get leg locks like that on bottom, this girl is very comfortable off her back. She's not freaking out or panicking off her back, trying to get up. She's looking for submissions. She has a very active guard, and I don't know if Moroz is going to be able to get submitted here. I think that she's going to be able to stay safe. Moroz is more of a striker, very good boxer from Ukraine, with good hands, man. And I just see like if she can outlast that first round, that early wave from Silva, because I do think that Silva is going to look like $1 million early in this fight. If Maryna could just extend this fight, get to round 2 and get to round 3, I think that she could start to win on volume, because on the feet, she's the more technical striker. I think that she's going to look better when it is in the striking exchanges. It's just that Karine throws kind of wild and has a ton of pop. So a club and sub is live, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Karine Silva pull guard in this fight. She's kind of surging in the UFC, hasn't lost. She's finishing all of her fights. So I feel like a lot of people are hyping her up, but there's a reason why Maryna Moroz's money line's crashing, because people are betting on her. So I do think that I'm going to go with the underdog here. At plus 130, I'm going to stay away, but I do think that Moroz is going to win a decision and that this fight goes the distance. And back-to-back women's fights to start the night, guys. Another women's MMA fight. We have a women's flyweight fight. This one is a banger of a fight. Very good fight here. Good match here. We have Andrea KGB Lee versus Natalia Silva. KGB Lee comes in 13-7, is the underdog at plus 275. She is 34 years old, 5'6", with a 69.5-inch reach. Natalia Silva comes in the favorite, 15-5-1, sitting at a minus 350, 26 years old, 5'4", with a 65-inch reach. And right away, 350, I can't do it. I can't bet that. I can't parlay that, even though I do think that Silva is going to win this fight. But it's going to be close. I do expect this fight to go the distance. But it's a fun matchup, guys. So Natalia Silva, this girl is looking like $1 million, man. Her striking is definitely better than Andrea Lee, in my opinion. She's going to have a speed advantage in this fight, in my opinion. That's what I think is going to set her apart in this fight with Lee, because Lee's a very good striker in her own right. I know she lost to Macy Barber, but I actually think that she won that fight. Macy Barber and Andrea Lee are both fighters that key y'all when they throw, so you're going to hear Andrea Lee yelling every time she throws, and for some reason, the judges love that. I don't know why. But Silva should be the better striker here. Like I said, I really like how quick she is. She's very fast. And the one area that you would expect Andrea Lee to try to expose is the grappling here. But Natalia Silva showed very good takedown defense against Jasmine Judavicius, a fight where I didn't expect it to go that way. I think that Jasmine's wrestling is really good. That win has aged very well, and she's been improving every single time in the octagon. So you have to expect that the young prospect Silva is going to continue to look good. And I actually would pick and bet Lee if she was younger. That age gap to me is significant. She is 8 years older than Silva here at 34 years old, women's flyweight fight. It's kind of tough to get behind you when you know Silva is a very good and slick striker. And yeah, man, I don't think this is going to be able to get Lee out of there. So this is going to get extended, and I think it goes all 15. Fight goes to decision. Andrea Lee has never been knocked out. And if Silva's the first one to do it, it's going to be a highlight type fight. So highlight type real, I should say. So I think it goes to the decision again, 2 back-to-back women's fights that go the distance. And I'm going to go with Silva to win a decision there. That's a close fight, though. Minus 350 is kind of crazy to me, man. I know a lot of people are going to be parlaying here. So up next, another wide favorite. We have, dude, the rest of the card's so good. We have a men's middleweight fight between Gerald Meerschaert and Andrea Petroski. Meerschaert comes in 35-16, is the underdog at plus 210. He is 35 years old, 6'1", with a 77.5-inch reach. And then we have the favorite, Andrea Petroski, only 9-1, sitting at around minus 260, 32 years old, 6 foot tall, with a 73-inch reach. And so, yeah, man, this line is wide in my opinion, but I do think that Petroski will win. It's tough because that's a lot of juice to pay against someone in Meerschaert who is very well versed in the one area that I think Petroski is going to take this fight, and that's the grappling. Petroski is someone that we saw in the Ultimate Fighter, and we kind of knew him more as a grappler than a wrestler. But his striking has looked improved, especially in that tournament fight. He did look better. His jab looked way more like quicker and I guess overall better. It wasn't as sloppy as it was early in his career, especially that Brian Battle fight. We've seen him tire out. That's the thing. I've seen Andre get tired in fights, but he still pulls through and gets the job done. That win over Nick Maximoff was a pretty good win because I think that Nick Maximoff is a very good grappler, and he ragdolled him. So that's a very good look. It's just that Gerald Meerschaert is very good off his back with these submissions. This dude is live for a submission at every moment of the fight, right? So this guy can be getting his head kicked in a whole fight, 2 minutes, and 59 seconds left in the fight, and he can submit you in that very last second. That's how dangerous he is. But when you have someone that has very good wrestling and good wrestling IQ, I feel like that negates a lot of the submission opportunities. I feel like Andrea Petroski will be able to roll out and sweep out of dangerous positions from Meerschaert. I don't really expect Meerschaert to gain top position in this fight. I feel like he'll be spending a lot of this fight off his back. And on the feet, I really think that Petroski is going to have the better moments there because Gerald Meerschaert is just slow on the feet. He's not a striker. He knows. We've seen him get one punch knocked out before. We've seen that chin get cracked, and he's getting up there. And he's 35 years old. Petroski is not this young prospect either, man. He's 32 years old, so I feel like a lot of people think he's way younger, but he should win this fight. He's a good wrestler, has good jiu-jitsu, and he has a better striking here. And Gerald Meerschaert, in my opinion, is submission or bust. He has to win via submission. I doubt he's going to win by knockout or submission. And as long as Petroski doesn't gas, I think he's a safe play here. But at minus 260 against someone that has more proven UFC experience and is dangerous, pretty much the whole fight, it's tough. So I am going to go with Petroski. No action on this fight. But I do think that Andre wins. I'm going to go with a finish, actually. I think that he finishes on the mat. Ground and pound finish in round 2. Up next, we have the Ultimate Fighter season finale. So this is a lightweight fight. And really quickly, dude, the way they did the Ultimate Fighter this year was so dumb and not a good idea. Usually they break the teams up into 2 teams forever, and then they fight each other throughout the season, right? But there was a theme this year, prospects versus veterans, and the veterans were ex-UFC fighters that have been cut, and now they're back on the Ultimate Fighter to try to get back into the UFC, right? And the prospects are just these regional guys, right? And so for I think it was the first 7 fights, the old dudes won, the guys, the veterans won, Michael Chandler's team won. They were just dusting all these prospects, so it was actually kind of boring of a season. So I stopped watching after a while. But I do know these guys well. I know Austin Hubbard really well. I like him as a fighter. So yeah, this fight will be between Kurt Holobaugh and Austin Hubbard. Kurt comes in 19-7, 36 years old, 5'11", with a 73-inch reach. And Austin Hubbard comes in 15-6. He's the favorite. There's no odds right now, but I do think that he is the favorite. There's no odds on the screen. He's 31 years old, 5'10", with a 71-inch reach. I'm going with Austin Hubbard to win a decision here. He's pretty well-rounded, but so is Kurt. I do think that Kurt has way more finishing equity in this fight. If someone finishes this fight, I think it comes from the Kurt side, especially via knockout. I do like his striking. He's very dangerous on the feet. And his UFC run's kind of, I don't want to say suspect because I feel like he got screwed. He had tough fights against tough fighters, good matchups. Whereas Austin Hubbard was just kind of beating up cans and kind of fizzled out in the UFC. But it's actually kind of crazy, dude. He beat this dude so bad. Who was the kid that quit? He made a guy quit in the UFC. Roshkov, I think his name was. Yeah, Max Roshkov. That performance was wild. Austin Hubbard, if you were to watch that fight, you'd be like, this dude, how's this dude on the UFC? But Max Roshkov is not very good. So that was crazy. This dude, Austin Hubbard, has beaten dudes so bad that they need to quit during the fight. No one ever does that. This dude that he fought wanted to throw the towel in. So that was kind of crazy. But he's a very good striker. He's more of a general overall fighter. He's not really a specialist anywhere, a crazy good striker, not a crazy good wrestler, crazy good jiu-jitsu guy. He's just well-rounded, right? And so it's tough in the 155 division. You have to be really good to hang around. That's the hardest division, in my opinion, in the UFC, up there with the bantamweight and featherweight division. But yeah, man, give me Austin Hubbard, a fight that goes all 15 minutes. Up next, we have an exciting middleweight fight between the Brazilian Obama Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues and Denis Tiuliulin. Rodrigues comes in as a massive 350 favorite. His record is 13-5. He is 31 years old. I doubt that's true. 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. He is fighting Denis Tiuliulin, the underdog, at plus 275. He is 11-7, 35 years old, 6'1" with the 77-inch reach. So right away, we have to talk about that money line. And I get it. Listen, I think that Gregory Rodrigues is better than the Tiuliulin in every single area of MMA, even the striking. I know Denis is a good striker. It's just the striking defense from Gregory Rodrigues leaves me worried, because if you're someone out there that's going big on parlaying Gregory Rodrigues, like, it's going to be sketchy, because if he doesn't grapple here and it becomes a 15-minute striking fight, he leaves his chin out there to be had all the time. This dude gets cracked in most of his fights, but he's not like a bad striker. It's just that he just like goes forward, doesn't really care for the damage coming back. I don't say low IQ. It's just that, I don't know. It's strange to see him not shore up the defensive, liabilities that he's had in the UFC. But on the mat, this dude should absolutely wash Denis Tiuliulin. If Gregory Rodrigues approaches this fight with the grappling, game plan, you could say, he should look minus 350. He should look higher than minus 350, because he probably submits Denis Tiuliulin right after that first takedown. One thing I love to do is I love to watch those UFC Fight Passes invitationals or jiu-jitsu tournaments. And I've seen Gregory on there a few times, and this dude on the mat is no joke. This dude is vicious with the jiu-jitsu. This guy is very strong, very big for the division, and very quick on the mat. And on the feet, he can crack. It's not like he's a bad striker. I know I was harping on his striking defense, but he can offensively strike as well. He's very good. I love his combinations. Very heavy hands, very good kicks to the body, very powerful shots when he goes to the body. But Denis Tiuliulin, that is the area that he does prefer the fight to take, is on the feet. Dude, if you just watch that last fight, I don't know how you think that Gregory isn't going to do the same thing that Jung Young Park did. Jung Young Park is a striker, and Denis Tiuliulin made him look like a black belt. Like, I don't know if he is or not, but like, that was kind of crazy to see the grappling exchanges and get submitted by Jung Young Park. Like I said, someone that is a striker. And in that fight against Ashabaz Kurziev, same thing. He got submitted in that fight as well. And he got submitted on the regional scene by Alex Yurov too, who actually is a good fighter. But we just seen too many times Denis Tiuliulin getting exposed in the grappling area, and Gregory is a very good submission artist on the feet. On the mat. And I think that he's going to finish Denis Tiuliulin. So at minus 350, I get it. You're expecting someone to look like $1 million and to just walk through someone and finish them, which might happen. I get it. But I feel like the safer play here is fight doesn't go the distance, which is probably higher than minus 350, honestly. But yeah, I just think that Denis gets submitted in most of his losses. He's getting exposed on the mat. I just can't watch that Park fight, that performance, and then think that's not going to happen again. I do think that's going to happen again. If Gregory Rodrigues doesn't grapple in this fight, I will be shocked. Like, that would be negative fight IQ type stuff. He should definitely seek the grappling in this fight and make it look easy. And if he does, he's a great parlay piece. But if he doesn't, you're going to be sitting there sweating like, dude, please don't get knocked out. But who knows? He might come out here and knock out Denis himself. So I do expect Gregory to win this fight. A wide favorite that I do think comes through. Oh, boy. Up next, it's going to be tough to watch. We have a middleweight fight. He was the headlining prelim, the last fight before the pay-per-view starts. We have Chris, the All-American Weidman, versus Brad Tavares. Chris Weidman coming back after snapping his leg against Uriah Hall, Anderson Silva style. One of the worst, most gruesome things we'll ever see watching UFC. Don't go look it up, dude. That was horrible. I had Uriah Hall that night, and I was like, let's go. But so Chris Weidman comes in 15-6, right? He's plus 110 on the money line. He is 39 years old, 6'2", with a 78-inch reach. Brad Tavares comes in the favorite at minus 260, 35 years old, 6'1", with a 74-inch reach. And I have to go with Brad Tavares here, and I actually like that line at minus 260. I mean, listen, like, you want to talk about red flags, dude? There is nothing redder or of a bigger red flag than snapping your leg on the very first leg kick you throw against Uriah Hall, taking 2 years off, having to learn how to walk again, having to learn how to do everything again, like reconstruct your whole life, have a career-changing injury, and then coming back at 39 years old, where the best area you're good at is your wrestling, and you're fighting a guy with very strong hips, very good takedown defense, and has proven to be a very hard guy to get down in Brad Tavares, who also has a very good chin, has been proven he's hard to finish. I do not see a path for Chris Weidman to win this fight. If he out-wrestles Brad Tavares and clinches him and grapples him for 15 minutes or 10 minutes to win a decision in this fight, I will be legit shocked. This dude had to relearn how to walk, guys. Like, this is crazy. Why is he coming back? He is 39 years old. like, what are we doing? And he didn't even look that good before he got that leg injury. So, like, he was starting to fade, getting old in his career. And, bro, I get it. Brad Tavares on a 2-fight losing streak, but both guys that beat him, I would bet over Chris Weidman as well. And in that Rodrigues Duplessis fight, he showed that he can take a punch. We see how hard Rodrigues hits now, and we know how like much of a finisher that guy is. And he took him to decision. So, and like I said, in the defensive grappling area, Brad Tavares has very good takedown defense. Once it does get down, though, that's where I believe Chris Weidman will have a significant advantage, like in the jiu-jitsu area. If anything, like, he needs to finish this fight because I do not see him winning the 15-minute decision here. Coming off such a long layoff, looking as bad as he did before the layoff. And I get it. Brad Tavares isn't that young either. He is 35, but still, man, I have to go with Brad Tavares. Give me Brad Tavares to actually finish Chris Weidman. And I saw that over-under is set at 1.5. And technically, like, you would think, statistically, like, this is going to go over. Like, Brad Tavares doesn't really finish people like that. He doesn't get finished. But he's fighting a 39-year-old that had to construct his foot to learn how to walk again, and he hasn't fought in 2 years. So he might finish Chris Weidman, honestly. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Chris Weidman get finished in this fight, but I do think that Brad Tavares will finish him in that second round. But it's tough. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win a decision. Give me Brad Tavares second round TKO. Like, I don't know why Chris Weidman's fighting, bro. That's crazy. And here we go. The pay-per-view starts with a bantamweight fight. This is going to be a banger of a fight between Marlon Chito Vera and Pedro Munhoz. Vera comes in 22-8-1. Sitting as a -190 favorite, 30 years old, 5'8", with a 70.5-inch reach. He is fighting Pedro Munhoz, 20-7, plus 155 on the money line. 36 years old, 5'6", with a 65-inch reach. I'm going with the favorite in this fight, Chito Vera, to win. But I am nervous, dude. I am not betting this fight. I'm not parlaying. I'm not touching this fight. If anything, I'll probably look at a fight starts round 3. But that's probably going to be crazy juiced. Because both these guys are very, very durable. Neither one has ever been finished in their pro MMA career, which is actually crazy, man. Statistically, you would think this is guaranteed to go to decision because neither guy's been finished. Neither guy's been dropped in the UFC. These guys would have granite chins, right? The thing is, Pedro Munhoz is 36 years old, and he was getting up there in age. So, like, that chin's got to go eventually. He was cracked bad by Dominic Cruz. He's been cracked in a few fights, honestly. And whereas Chito Vera, he gets hit, and, like, he doesn't really react. It's crazy. He can just absorb punches like nothing, really. But there is a few things that make me sketched out in this fight. And the number one thing is that Pedro Munhoz is a very good leg kick checker, and he has very good leg kicks of his own. The second thing is that Chito Vera is a very slow starter, dude. He takes round 1, I don't say off, but he just always seems to lose round 1. So going into this fight, you should definitely know that he's probably going to lose round 1, and then he builds as the fight goes. This guy will lose the majority of the round, and then land significant damage toward the end of the round, and then win rounds that way. That Rob Font fight, he was getting outstruck. He's actually been outstruck in the most of his most recent fights. Like, it's kind of crazy. Frankie Edgar was giving him a good fight before the front kick KO. Rob Font outstruck him statistically, even though Rob Font was getting mollywopped all over the cage by those significant power shots by Chito Vera. I'm telling you, Chito can crack. He has very good strong leg kicks, very good power in his hands. And then in that Dominic Cruz fight, same thing. He was losing rounds. Boom, big knockdown, big significant shot, cracking his head back to win rounds like that. And he ended up getting that knockout with a sick head kick. We put his toe in Dominic Cruz's mouth. So it's weird because I do think that the range advantage he has a 5-inch reach advantage, and just his length is going to help him in this fight, even with the low output. But, dude, it's going to look bad on the judges' scorecards when Pedro Munhoz is going forward. Chito's just moving laterally a bunch, looking for that one shot, and Pedro's just getting ahead on the points. It's going to be sketchy, man. I do expect this to start round 3, go the distance, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Chito Vera finish Pedro Munhoz. Man, he just has the power advantage in this fight. I really do think that if someone gets hurt bad in this fight, it's going to be Pedro Munhoz. So give me Chito Vera, and I understand anyone like taking a shot on Pedro Munhoz as an underdog, but I just can't do it. I do think that Chito Vera gets back on track here and, wins a decision because it's going to be tough to finish Pedro, but give me a decision. Let's go Chito. Okay, here we go. You know how I mentioned earlier, Damon Blackshear, we bet on him last week on a parlay and we cashed. He's back. He's fighting on 7 days, I guess, repeat. Never been done before. No one has ever fought on 7 days, notice like this. Like, he fought on Saturday and now he's accepting another fight. And that's kind of crazy to me. I don't know, is this wow, it has it listed as a bantamweight fight, and I'm shocked at that. I think it should be a catchweight fight. That's crazy that they're going to make him cut weight twice. He must be a pretty small, bantamweight because he must have not blown up 2 weight cuts in 7 days. That's got to be horrible for your brain, right? Yeah, so this fight should be interesting because I know Mario Batista's a minus 250 favorite, right? And we just saw Damian Blackshear last week. Batista's a very good striker, very, very dangerous on the feet, very quick. He probably will be the quicker striker in this fight. But the grappling from Blackshear is not, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore the ability to get fights down. And we just saw him secure the third ever twister ever in UFC history last week. And so I'm not really doubting him, dude. He's a good underdog to pick this week. The circumstances of the weight cut might play a factor that is kind of strange to me. But Bautista had a full camp. I mean, I'm sorry, Blackshear. Blackshear just fought last week, but it's just a weird fight because Bautista's a good striker. He's a dangerous striker. I wouldn't be surprised to see him finish Blackshear. But Blackshear has good defensive striking. He's not like standing in front of like all of his opponents trying to get in a slugfest. This guy is smart. He has good fight IQ. And Bautista's recent run, you can kind of poke holes in it. Like Ryan Kelleher, I don't even know if he's still in the UFC. Benito Lopez, same thing. And then he fought Guido Canetti, who, I mean, come on. Like beating Guido Canetti does really nothing for me. That was kind of crazy that they booked him against Cody Garbrandt on a pay-per-view card. So that's, tells me the UFC was kind of getting ready to promote Bautista. And he was a favorite in that fight too. So give me no, I gotta go Bautista. Give me Bautista. The two weight cuts are weird to me. That is strange. I'm staying away, not betting this fight. If I would bet Bautista inside the distance. But don't be surprised if Damian Blackshear wins this fight. He has very good wrestling, very good takedown abilities, very good control. And why would you want to stay at range versus a very dangerous leg kicker, a very dangerous striker in Bautista? That would be the smartest thing, in my opinion, for Damian Blackshear to do, is to pursue that grappling. And that might lead to a decision win. So, and that's a stay away fight for sure for me. But I am going to go with Bautista. Okay, here we go. Another banger of a fight. A welterweight fight, short notice for one of them. We have Neil, the Haitian sensation Magny, taking on Ian, the future Machado Garry. Banger of a fight. So Ian Garry was supposed to fight Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal had to pull out. He was injured. In steps Neil Magny. And I actually think this is a easier matchup. Definitely an easier fight for Ian Garry now. So imagine he was supposed to have a tougher fight. Now he's having an easier opponent. Because Jeff Neal couldn't crack. His original opponent had very good power, very good striking, very dangerous on the feet. Whereas Neil Magny is a decision machine. This dude is very hard to finish, and he doesn't finish anybody. So that's the thing with Ian Garry. Because, bro, he's... Okay, first of all, let's get into the tape. So Neil Magny, 28-10, ton of experience, coming in as a massive plus 310 underdog, 36 years old, 6'3", with the 80-inch reach. Ian Garry comes in, the Irish prospect, undefeated, right? 12-0, looking like $1 million, as a huge minus 450 favorite. That line is climbing. Money's coming on him still. 25 years old, 6'3", with a 74-inch reach. So right away, Neil Magny, 6-inch reach advantage, which is not rare. He has a reach advantage over pretty much all of his opponents. But yeah, so if I want to poke holes in Ian Garry's game, it's his chin and his striking defense. He has been rocked on almost every single UFC fight he's had. He got dropped last fight, 2 fights ago against Kanong Song, where he was like minus 600. He got dropped in that very first round clean, dude. He went down like the lights were out, but he did show good durability, came back, and then finished Song in that third round. That was sketchy because I know a lot of people had him parlayed, and I don't know how they must have felt with him going down right away in that first round. But we've seen him rocked and clipped in his fights, but he looked great in that fight against Denis Rodrigues, where he did finish him. No one's really finishing D-Rod like that. He head kicked him flush. And Neil Magny, the way he fights, he loves to clinch. This dude would clinch anybody in the world. He will try to clinch Ian Garry here, try to gain control time here. And I think that if that happens, the fans are going to go crazy. They're going to be booing so hard for the ref to separate them. But even if they don't, even if the ref doesn't separate them, I trust Ian Garry's clinch grappling to get underhooks and turn positions on Neil Magny. And I just don't see Neil Magny being able to stay safe for 2 rounds and clinch for 2 rounds and steal a decision that way. I don't expect Ian Garry to gas out or look bad in that third round. I low-key expect Ian Garry to put it on Neil Magny very bad. And that's the thing. Like, Ian has to be feeling good knowing that he doesn't have to worry about getting finished now. Neil Magny doesn't have power like that. He doesn't crack like that. He doesn't have a very good, offensive wrestling or jiu-jitsu. He's just like an overall, average fighter that clinches a lot. Very good clinch and very long with his elbows, in the clinch. Give me Ian Garry to dominate this fight and finish this fight in that third round. I think that he gets Neil Magny out of there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get him out of there earlier. And yeah, man, expect Neil Magny to clinch the whole fight, or at least try to. And now it's time for the co-main event, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about my breakdown so far. I'm going to take a sip really quick. We have up next the UFC strawweight belt on the line when Weili Zhang takes on Amanda Lemos. Zhang comes in the champion, the favorite, 23-3, sitting at minus 330 favorite, 34 years old, 5'4" with a 63-inch reach. She is fighting Amanda Lemos. She comes in with a 13-2-1 record, sitting as a plus 250 underdog, 36 years old, 5'4" with a 65-inch reach. I'm going with Weili Zhang and still, and I think she dominates this fight. I'll be honest. I know a lot of people out there are making good cases for Amanda Lemos. She's a live underdog for sure. When you see a title fight like that, like a line like that, dude, like, come on. Like, this girl is a beast. She's world-class. Lemos is a stud on the feet. Very good knockout power. One of the only girls in the division to have one-touch knockout power. If she catches your chin, you can go out easily, right? It's just that I think that Weili is going to dominate the wrestling in this fight. I think that she has shown the improvements in her wrestling, and on the feet, she is very, very durable. That's the thing. If Weili Zhang goes into this fight and gives Amanda Lemos the type of fight Amanda wants, which is a brawl, a slugfest, a head down, chin down, rock'em sock'em type fight, Amanda Lemos is live to knock out Weili Zhang. But Weili Zhang, to me, has too good of fight IQ for that to happen. She does, have like low-key bad striking defense, in my opinion. She leaves her chin pretty high. Her hands are kind of low sometimes, and she's just slow to react. Like, I'll be honest, like, Joanna Jacek was lighting her up in that fight that she won, and she dominated her in the rematch. But even Rose and even Carla Esparza were having, not Carla Esparza, even Rose and Joanna Jacek were low-key snapping her head back. But we saw the wrestling in her fight against Rose improved, and we saw her definitely against Carla Esparza with the wrestling improved. And she's out of a very good camp, Bangtao MMA out there in Thailand with the Hickman brothers, and I know they're going to have her dialed in for this fight. The case for Amanda Lemos is a first-round knockout. If you're going to bet on her, you definitely want her to win inside the distance. I do not think that she can last 5 rounds. She looked tired in that Angela Hill fight, and that's the thing. That's the one, I guess, piece of tape that's making me really, really confident in Zhang. I know it's a lot to take from just one fight. Maybe she had a bad wake up. Maybe she wasn't on that night because she looked bad in that 3rd round, tiring out against Angela Hill, and she was taken down by the karate hottie, which to me is not a very good look. Like that's horrible. Jessica Andrade obviously submitted her with that crazy submission. But yeah, the gas tank looked better in the Maryna Rodrigues fight. That's actually a very good win in my opinion. I'm pretty high on Maryna. I don't think that she's a bad fighter. So for her to finish her like that, that's super, super impressive. Like I said, man, she has very good power earlier. But give me Weili Zhang. I think Amanda's going to look good early, and then that's it. I feel like she's going to look good in that 1st round and then fade big time. She's going to have to damage Weili very early in this fight because I think that Weili has the cardio, has the gas, has the fight IQ, has the overall skill set to really dominate this fight as it goes. And I do think that she finishes Lemos at some point in this fight. I'm going to go with a 2nd or 3rd round finish via submission. Now it's time for the main event, guys. Oh boy, we have a very exciting fight, man. A lot of people with a lot of opinions on this fight. They feel strongly about this fight. Can't wait for this one. We have a UFC Bantamweight Championship fight between Aljamain, the Funk Master Sterling, and Sugar Sean O'Malley, man. And the champ comes in 23-3, sitting as a minus 270 favorite, 34 years old, 5'7", with a 71-inch reach. Sean O'Malley comes in the underdog, the challenger, 16-1, sitting as a plus 210 underdog, 28 years old, 5'11", with a 72-inch reach. So money's been coming in on O'Malley, pushing Sterling down to minus 250. And I like that, man. I like it because I might see myself gambling and betting on Sterling this week because my pick for this fight is Aljamain Sterling to win this fight via submission at some point in this fight. And I actually think that it happens in round 1. So let me get into it. I feel like a lot of people are just overlooking both. Like, there's a lot of going for both fighters in this fight. Sean O'Malley definitely has a chance to win this fight. So it's not like Aljamain Sterling is out there getting 20 takedowns a fight, getting 10 takedowns a fight. He doesn't really get takedowns like that. For him, it's more like if he gets 1 takedown, that's it. Like, he's going to win that round. He's going to backpack you. He's going to get that body triangle, and you're going to drop that round. He has the 5-round proven cardio. So this will be Aljamain Sterling's 6th fight that's a 5-round fight. Sean O'Malley has never fought a UFC 5-round fight. This will be his first time in a 5-round fight. And his coaches know that he has to pace himself because this dude throws a lot into his strikes. And in that Peter Yan fight, the one opponent that Sean O'Malley, the only win, I should say, that's still in the UFC, he didn't look that great in that third round. And to me, that's the fight. This is the fight where I watched and I was like, oh man, I really think that Aljo's going to dominate this fight. So Peter Yan, it's funny. Sean O'Malley takes credit for turning Peter Yan into a wrestler. And to me, it's like, bro, he took you down 6 times. Like, that was crazy. I did not expect Peter Yan to do that, and neither did Sean. I definitely think that Aljamain Sterling has way better control and way better grappling than Peter Yan. It's just that the entries are going to be dangerous. So the way Peter was getting takedowns, he was getting a lot of trips, very close inside trips. And I feel like O'Malley is just going to be push kicking Aljo, kicking that oblique John Jones style all fight, trying to keep distance, moving laterally, staying safe. But I just think that Aljo's going to be able to press forward, cut off the cage, and get this dude on the warning track and get him down. This dude's taking out people like Henry Cejudo. He's taking Peter Yan down. I mean, do we even have to talk about Corey Sandhagen? Like, that's insane. This dude's grappling is super, super high level. And I feel like if it wasn't for that Peter Yan weird finish, like, this guy'd have way more fans. If Aljamain Sterling was Russian and his last name was Sterling Amagamadov or whatever, he would be minus 500 in this fight. Like, Sean O'Malley 100% can win this fight, and I actually think that if he wins this fight, it's not going to be because he won via early knockout. I actually think that it's going to be because he won via late knockout. I think that Aljamain Sterling, his takedown entries slow down as the fight goes big time, and when he gets denied, when he gets denied on takedown and they separate, that's where Sean can very well also catch him. There is times where Aljo separates from a takedown and he backs up, and he's just there to be caught. His shoulders are square, his hands are low, he looks tired. That is worrisome. So I do think that Aljo is going to be able to get the hands locked and finish Sean O'Malley very early in this fight. Like I said, very first round submission for Aljamain Sterling. I'm pretty confident in that, man. I just cannot watch that fight against Peter Yan and then think that that's not going to happen here. So I understand Sean O'Malley, very dynamic striker, very sharp too, very good accuracy. I feel like a lot of people sleep on how accurate he is. And if you want to bring up his jiu-jitsu, it is good. Don't get me wrong. He has very good jiu-jitsu. But it's just not the level of Sterling. There is levels to this, in my opinion. He's 34 years old. Red flag, he's talking about how this is his last fight at bantamweight. No matter what, win or lose, he is moving up to 145. Red flag, big time. And then the whole way this fight was kind of set up, they're making Aljo turn around very quickly. He fought Henry Cejudo 3 months ago. Sean O'Malley hasn't fought in 9 months. You know, he just had almost a whole year to prepare for one opponent, and now it's going to be Aljo or Henry. So he knew he had to get the wrestling done. And Aljo was a champ the whole time, so he was definitely preparing for Aljo. And then Aljo wins his last fight. They're bringing him to the octagon. The UFC is definitely trying to push Sean O'Malley in this fight. But sometimes it just doesn't, end up that way. Give me Aljamain Sterling to finish Sean O'Malley in that very first round via rear naked choke submission. That'll do it, guys. Thanks for watching my video. It's going to be a very fun, exciting night of fights. And I'll let you know what my bets are. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. We collected 5 units last week, and we're looking to keep it going. Very sketchy card, low-key, in my opinion. I might pursue the time props a little more this week, or, just stay safe with a couple 2-leg parlays. Very tough, though. Literally, right now, I have 0 bets. This is very rare that I have no bets at this point in the week. Coming out on Tuesday. So, yeah, man, I'll see you guys next week. Oh, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. I am going live again with my homie Aries from Keep It A Block podcast. Dude, last week he came on. He went 11-1 on the 12 fights that happened last week. Pretty wild stuff, man. This guy killed it, so I'm bringing him back. And he told me he has a lot to say about this card. So, tune in tomorrow, live stream, Wednesday night. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave me a comment. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.